as a community can do better.
What do you want to tell your children about this moment?
We need reforms.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we stand together.
Everybody's here together, black, white, brown, everybody.
A platform for progress in our community.
We need to do a better job.
I want to show that we can be peaceful.
This is just as much our fight as it is yours.
Discussing the problems of racial inequality and solutions to combat discrimination in a conversation for change.
We'll be able to build on this.
I never in a million years thought I would embrace a cop like that.
From Wish TV, we stand together.
From a man of the cloth to a man of the people, Indianapolis Deputy Mayor David Hampton is now charged with helping be a peacemaker in the city.
In tonight's We Stand Together, David Williams sat down with Hampton to talk about where Indianapolis is right now and what work still needs to be done.
What can 160 years of experience teach you about the future? A lot, especially when it comes to protecting what matters. At Pacific Life, we've helped people and businesses confidently embrace the future with life insurance, retirement income, and employee benefits. With strategies built on strength and trust, and a promise to be here for you today and tomorrow. Ask a financial professional how Pacific Life can help you today. Pacific Life Insurance Company, Omaha, Nebraska, and in New York. Pacific Life and Annuity, Phoenix, Arizona.
He is a father, a former pastor, a politician, and yet a man for the people. He is passionate about local Hoosiers, and it resonates with so many people, both young and old. He is the Deputy Mayor of Community Engagement for the city of Indianapolis.
Thank you for joining us today. You've seen the videos. Has George Floyd's death affected you in any way?
Absolutely. The George Floyd death was not only very visceral, for me personally, but I think for the nation, it was almost too reminiscent of the Eric Garner case, which I think the nation still had not fully overcome either. And so, I think it sparked a lot of visceral reaction in our nation.
I can't breathe! His death has sparked movements across the country and across the world. What do you think about the fact that George Floyd's death is inspiring a global movement?
Well, what's unfortunate is it's not the first of its kind. There have been multiple similar incidences. What I am happy to see is that there is such a large movement around the issue of racial equity. We're raising the level of conversations around race and human rights and equity, and not only are the voices becoming younger and the leadership younger, which is great to see, it's also more diverse. And so I hope those conversations continue, but I hope they also continue beyond symbolism to substance, policy change, and effective laws that help to spread equity across those broad planes of diversity that we just spoke about.
And I understand you've taken part in some of the protests here at home.
As deputy mayor, it was my role to be somewhat of a intermediary between the community and our local IMPD. And so my role was really to help to be a voice of reason, to de-escalate if there were ever a need to de-escalate, and to be a bridge, because I think that ultimately protesters want one thing, and that is their own safety. They also want to see policy changes and their voices heard. They have a constitutional right to do so. But I know IMPD did not want unnecessary engagement or negative interaction. And so we had to find ways to ensure that that happened so that the entire community could protest in a safe and peaceful way.
You mentioned safe and peaceful protesting and the fact that you're a bridge. I want to go back a few weeks ago to those moments, the protests in front of the governor's residence. It unfolded live on Wish TV. And I remember watching you right in the middle of that protesting. And there was a moment where the lead protester, Malik, and police officers, they hugged, they embraced. And I remember seeing you right there next to them in that moment. Describe what went through your mind and your heart in that moment, and why what your job is so important and so pivotal in that moment?
You know, in that moment, it was very unpredictable. I stood back, I think, as long as I could as an observer. And once I saw that there was a possible escalation, I began to ask some of the protesters, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to see happen? And at the same time, I asked the state police and IMPD, what do you all want to accomplish and what do you want to see happen? And at that moment, there was a moment of surreal response on the part of IMPD and state police in response to the protesters. They found a mutually cohesive moment, I think. I call it a serendipitous moment, because in light of the circumstance, it could have turned out in a very different way. And so what happened from there was truly on the part of the protesters and the police. I felt that my job was simply to be, from my Christian perspective, the Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers. So if I could have brought peace, at least in that moment, I was satisfied. But what happened from there, I think, was unexpected. And I applaud the way that the police and the protesters handled themselves vis-a-vis or in light of the fact that it could have been very, very negative and dangerous.
And history has shown us events like this have happened in our country before and in the world. What makes this time different for us?
Wow. I think that we are in one of the most unique and peculiar times in our history. We're in the midst of a global pandemic, which I think exacerbates just about everything. Every social norm is no longer normal. Health disparities are becoming known. I think racial disparities are becoming more visualized and vocalized. And so as we deal with civil unrest and a global pandemic, we're all trying to find sense of, I think, our humanity and where we all fit in that place in this time in history. And I think the best ways for us to do that is to have these honest conversations, but then to find ways to move toward mutual respect and understanding so that we can all live as we want to live. And that is, we all want the same thing, safety. We want the best education for our children. We want a livable wage. We want all those things that make us citizens in the United States.
Do you feel like the protesting, the current mood of our nation, will this bring about change in Indiana and the U.S.?
I absolutely do. The rate and level of change, I think, it still remains to be seen, but I think that here in Indianapolis, we can point to many changes that have already been made. And so to those protesters, you should feel somewhat accomplished. We in the city have, our mayor has already issued body cams for 1,000 police. We have already begun to revise use of force policy and procedure. And even on this coming Thursday, those who want to tune in again, I'm going to be hosting a community conversation on public safety with many of our city councilors. And so steps are being made. Though they may be baby steps, they're steps nonetheless.
And then my last question, if you had a message to share with Central Indiana, anything at all, what would you say?
Don't stop. The work is not done. There's so much more to do.
And remember that you can also listen to our We Stand Together podcasts anytime.
Find tonight's episode and others online at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
From Wish TV, we stand together. Watch, read, listen, and be a part of the conversation online at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Find more episodes of We Stand Together and other podcasts from Wish TV online anytime at allindianapodcastnetwork.com. allindianapodcastnetwork.com.